It was just a regular Tuesday morning when it happened. I was walking through my kitchen, barefoot like always, thinking about breakfast. There was nothing in the way, no clutter, no mess. Just a quiet, familiar path I'd walked 1,000 times. But then, out of nowhere, I lost my footing. My arm shot out and I caught the edge of the counter just in time. No injury, no fall. But something inside me changed. That moment haunted me for days. Not because I got hurt, but because I could have. And for the first time, I asked myself, was that just bad luck? Or is something else going on? Most people assume that losing your balance is just a part of aging. Of course I'm a little wobbly, I'm getting older, we say with a shrug. But what if that's not entirely true? What if it's not just age, but small daily habits quietly working against you? Here's the surprising part. Doctors now believe that 99% of older women will face balance problems. And yet, so many of us never talk about it. We treat it like it's inevitable. But it's not. In fact, much of it is preventable, if we know what to look for. In this video, I'm going to walk with you through 8 common mistakes that slowly weaken our balance without us even noticing. And near the end, I'll tell you about the one mistake I made that sent me straight to the floor, and what I learned that could help you stay standing. You don't need to be afraid. And you're not alone. If you've ever hesitated before stepping down a curb or felt unsure getting out of bed, this video is for you. Let's take the next steps together. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Mistake number 1. Wearing the wrong shoes. When it comes to balance, most people think about exercises or maybe medications. But one of the biggest reasons older women lose their stability starts at the bottom, with our shoes. I'll be honest. For years, I wore those little ballet flats. They were cute, simple, and easy to slip on. I felt comfortable in them, or so I thought. But one afternoon, walking down the sidewalk near my home, I caught the edge of the flat on a raised piece of pavement. I nearly went face-first into a rose bush. That wasn't just a close call. That was my wake-up call. As we get older, the shape and padding of our feet change. The arches flatten. The fat pads on the bottom of our feet wear down. And the muscles in our legs and ankles don't respond as quickly as they once did. That means the shoes that worked just fine 10 years ago might now be putting us at serious risk. A good shoe is more than just something to cover your feet. It's your foundation. And if your foundation is weak, then everything above it becomes unstable, too. So what makes a shoe right for you now? First, it needs to have a firm, non-slip sole. That means no smooth, worn-down bottoms. Second, you want structure and support, something that holds your ankle and arch in place, not something that flops around. Third, cushioning. Think memory foam or a supportive heel cup, especially if you walk a lot on hard surfaces like tile or concrete. Finally, fit. A shoe that is too loose can trip you up just as easily as one that is too tight. Now, you might be thinking, I don't want to wear orthopedic shoes, they're ugly. But here's the good news. Today's market has caught up. There are stylish, supportive options out there. I found a beautiful pair in soft gray with floral accents. They look great, and feel even better. And let's talk about slippers. I used to wear those all day at home. Soft, cozy, and totally slick on the bottom. They had zero grip. I didn't realize how dangerous they were until I nearly slipped while carrying laundry. So now, even at home, I wear shoes with a proper sole. Not heavy boots, just something stable with a good grip. The difference? I walk taller. I feel more confident. And I haven't tripped on that rug corner in months. Shoes seem like a small detail. But when you're over 60, they're not small anymore. They're safety. They're confidence. And sometimes, they're the difference between a normal day and an emergency room visit. Mistake number 2. Skipping strength training. This one might surprise you. It sure surprised me. For a long time, I believed that strength training was something younger people did. I thought it meant going to the gym, lifting heavy weights, or joining a fitness class with loud music and tight outfits. That wasn't me. I figured I was active enough just doing the usual. Walking, cleaning, gardening. But that wasn't enough. The truth is, after the age of 50, our bodies begin to lose muscle every single year. Not a little, a lot. And it happens so gradually, you don't even realize it until one day you try to get out of a low chair. And you can't do it without using both arms to push yourself up. That's not just getting older. That's muscle loss. And the good news? It's reversible. I started slow. I didn't join a gym or buy fancy weights. I picked up a pair of light dumbbells from the local store and kept them near the couch. I began doing simple movements while watching television. Things like arm curls, wall push-ups, and seated leg lifts. Some days I didn't even use weights, just my body. The goal wasn't to look like a fitness model. It was to rebuild the strength I had quietly lost. The changes came fast. Within weeks, I noticed that standing from the couch took less effort. I felt stronger carrying groceries. I even started walking uphill with more confidence. But more importantly, my body could react again. You know that moment when you trip and you try to catch yourself? If your legs and core aren't strong enough, your body just collapses. But with strength, your body fights back. It stabilizes. It keeps you upright. And here's the emotional part. Strength is not just physical. It's mental. It's emotional. When you feel strong, you act strong. You stop avoiding curbs, uneven paths, or stairs. You reclaim your freedom. Just 10 to 15 minutes, 3 times a week. That's all it takes. And it can be done at home, in pajamas, while watching your favorite show. No pressure. Just progress. Every small improvement makes a difference, because strength protects you not just from falls, but from fear. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Mistake number 3. Ignoring vision changes. You might not think of your eyesight when it comes to balance, but the two are closely connected, more than most people realize. I certainly didn't make that connection at first. I thought I was just a little clumsy in the dark, or that my house lighting was too soft. But one night, I got up to use the bathroom. I didn't turn on the light because I didn't want to wake my husband. As I tiptoed across the hallway, I completely missed the edge of a small rug. I went down hard on my knee. It took over a week to stop limping. That experience taught me something. Our eyes play a critical role in helping our brains understand where we are in space. It's not just about reading or recognizing faces. It's about judging distance, spotting contrast, and navigating steps, shadows, and uneven surfaces. As we age, our vision changes. It may not feel dramatic, but it's enough to affect our depth perception and balance. You might not realize that you're stepping just an inch too far, or not far enough, until it's too late. Many women over 60 continue to wear glasses with outdated prescriptions. I'll admit it, I wore mine for almost 4 years without an update. I thought they were good enough. But after that fall, I finally saw my eye doctor. Sure enough, my prescription had changed. I also learned about options like anti-glare coatings and lenses designed to help with contrast in low-light settings. These little upgrades made a huge difference. It's not just about glasses. It's also about lighting. A dim hallway or bathroom can make everything harder to see and throw your balance off, especially in the middle of the night. I added small plug-in nightlights to my bedroom, hallway, and bathroom. They were inexpensive and easy to install, but they gave me a new sense of confidence moving around after dark. If your glasses are scratched, old, or not tailored to your current needs, they could be putting you at risk every single day. And if your home is full of dark corners or shadows, your eyes are doing extra work, which leads to disorientation, dizziness, and even vertigo. So, do yourself a favor. Clean your lenses. Schedule that eye exam. Replace bulbs with brighter, warmer lights. Your balance starts with what you see. Make sure you're seeing clearly. Mistake number 4. Overlooking medication side effects. It started off like any other health conversation at my age. Routine, almost boring. I had been feeling a bit off lately. Just slightly lightheaded. nothing dramatic. Sometimes when I stood up, I'd feel the room shift for a moment, like a gentle sway. It didn't last long. I'd take a breath, steady myself, and move on with the day. But those little moments added up. I found myself standing slower, reaching for furniture more often, and pausing before getting out of bed. Not because I was tired, but because I didn't trust my footing anymore. My doctor, who I've been seeing for years, listened carefully. After a few tests, he suggested it might be a slight fluctuation in blood pressure. Nothing alarming, but worth managing. He prescribed a medication and assured me it was commonly used, generally well tolerated, and would help. So I took it, just like I was told. And for a few days, I convinced myself it was helping. But the lightheadedness didn't go away. In fact, it got worse. Subtle at first, then more noticeable. I would stand up from the couch and feel like I had stepped onto a boat. The room didn't spin wildly, but it didn't feel stable either. I brushed it off. I must be dehydrated, I thought. Or maybe I hadn't eaten enough. Or maybe it was just getting older. Because that's what we do, isn't it? We blame the symptoms on age. On one of those days. On being tired, or sensitive, or overthinking. Then one night, after dinner, I got up too quickly to grab a dish from the kitchen. As I turned the corner, I stumbled. I bumped into the side of the coffee table, hard. My knee throbbed, but worse than the pain was the fear that washed over me. If the table hadn't been there, I might have gone down. Later that evening, with an ice pack on my leg and a mug of tea in hand, I picked up the pill bottle and read the label more closely than I ever had before. And there it was. In small, printed words, may cause dizziness. May cause loss of balance. I sat in stunned silence. I had taken those pills every day, assuming they were helping. But they were quietly robbing me of the very thing I was trying to preserve. My steadiness. My confidence. My safety. I wish I had read the label sooner. I wish I had asked more questions. But more than that, I wish I had listened to my body instead of brushing off the signs. As we get older, our bodies change in ways we don't always realize. What we could handle at 50 might affect us very differently at 70 or 80. Our metabolism slows down, our kidneys process drugs differently, and our sensitivity to side effects increases. But medications don't adjust themselves. We have to advocate for that. And here's another layer to this mistake. Most older adults take multiple medications. For blood pressure. For cholesterol. For sleep. For arthritis. For digestion. Each one might seem harmless alone, but together, they can interact in ways that cause dizziness, fogginess, and yes, balance problems. The sad part? Many doctors aren't aware of the full picture. They see you for 10 or 15 minutes. They check one concern, prescribe one solution. But they're not inside your day-to-day life. They don't see the moment you reach for the wall, the way you hesitate before stepping into the shower, or how your hands tremble just slightly when tying your shoes. Only you live in your body. Only you feel those little warnings. That's why I now keep a small notebook in my purse. In it, I jot down anything that feels off, tired spells, dizzy spells, headaches, poor sleep. I don't overthink it. I just record it. And when I visit my doctor, I bring it with me. I bring a list of everything I'm taking. Prescriptions, over-the-counter pain relievers, supplements, even herbal teas. When I finally did that after the fall, my doctor looked at the list and paused. He nodded slowly and said, "This might be too strong for you now. Let's try adjusting the dose." And just like that, within a few days, the dizziness began to fade. Within a week, I felt steadier, more like myself. And that feeling, that quiet return of confidence, was worth everything. So here's what I learned, and what I hope you'll take to heart. Don't assume every change is just aging. Don't accept fogginess, dizziness, or poor balance as normal. Sometimes, the medicine that's supposed to help is quietly hurting instead. Ask questions. Read the labels. Trust your instincts. And if something doesn't feel right, speak up, even if it feels small. Especially if it feels small. Because that small thing might be the signal your body is trying to send. You have the right to feel safe in your body. You have the right to understand your prescriptions. You have the right to ask your doctor, is this still right for me? Medication isn't one size fits all. And it's not one size fits forever. What helped last year may not help today. And that's okay. So please, take a moment. Look through your medicine cabinet. Revisit your routine. Talk to your pharmacist. Bring up concerns. Keep track of symptoms. And never, ever be afraid to ask, could this be the medicine? Because your balance matters. Your safety matters. And your voice might be the very thing that keeps you standing tall. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Mistake number 5. Grabbing furniture instead of using a cane. I used to think using a cane meant the beginning of the end. Maybe not in words, but deep down, that's what I believed. I told myself, I don't need one. I'm still active. I'm not that old. I kept up with the laundry, made my own meals, did my shopping. Yes, I had a few close calls with balance here and there, but nothing serious. I figured as long as I could catch myself or lean on something nearby, I was doing just fine. That's what independence looks like, right? But one morning, as I made my way from the living room to the kitchen with a full mug of coffee in hand, I found myself instinctively reaching out. Not for balance exercises, not for a walking aid, but for the back of a nearby chair. I didn't even think about it. It was automatic. Just a little grab. A little safety net. That's when it hit me. I had slowly trained myself to use furniture as my support system. The back of a chair. The arm of the couch. The edge of the countertop. Even the hallway walls. I moved through my home like someone walking a tightrope, reaching out every few steps for something to hold on to, just in case. I hadn't realized it, but I was furniture walking. And it had become part of my daily routine. At first, I told myself it was harmless. After all, I wasn't falling. I was catching myself. But when I really thought about it, I saw the truth. I wasn't moving confidently. I was moving cautiously. I was relying on objects not designed to support me. I had created a silent safety system, and it was just one misstep away from failing. And then came the moment I'll never forget. I was carrying a full basket of laundry from the bedroom to the living room, both hands occupied, eyes focused on the path ahead. There was no chair to grab, no wall to lean on. Just polished hardwood and the quiet creak of the floor beneath me. I stepped forward, and suddenly, my balance shifted. My body tipped, just slightly, but enough. I stumbled. I didn't fall completely, but I crashed into the corner of a side table. The impact rattled the basket, shook my arms, and sent my heart racing. I stood frozen for a few seconds, gripping the table's edge, catching my breath. That near fall scared me more than I was willing to admit. It wasn't just the physical jolt, it was the emotional one. It forced me to face something I'd been avoiding. My sense of balance had changed. My body was asking for support, and I wasn't listening. I wasn't being strong. I was being afraid of how I'd look if I used a cane. Afraid of what people might think. Afraid of what I would think of myself. The idea of using a cane had always felt like giving in. Like surrendering to old age. Like wearing a label that said, fragile. But that afternoon, after the scare, I decided to do something different. I went to a local medical supply store, not reluctantly, but intentionally. I gave myself permission to look. Not commit, just look. And what I found surprised me. There were canes that were lightweight, adjustable, and easy to grip. Some even had floral patterns, soft colors, sleek handles. They didn't look clinical or sad. They looked beautiful, useful, empowering. I picked one up, a pale blue cane with a soft rubber tip and a curved handle that felt steady in my palm. It had a floral design etched into the metal, almost like a piece of jewelry. When I looked in the mirror holding it, I didn't see weakness. I saw someone who was taking care of herself. That was the moment everything shifted. From that day forward, I used the cane. Not every hour of the day, and not everywhere I went, but often enough to notice a real difference. I no longer feared walking across hardwood floors with a laundry basket. I didn't hesitate in the grocery aisle when someone stopped abruptly in front of me. And I stopped bumping into walls when I got out of bed at night. I walked taller. I walked more freely. I felt safer, not because the cane made me invincible, but because it gave me confidence. It gave me choice. And to my surprise, no one looked at me with pity. In fact, I received compliments. "That's such a pretty cane. Where did you get it?" "I've been thinking of getting one too." Turns out, using a cane isn't about defeat. It's about dignity. It's about peace of mind. There's a kind of strength in being honest with yourself. In saying, "This is what I need right now." There's no shame in that. None. If you find yourself reaching out to walls or chairs more than you used to, even just now and then, that's your body sending you a quiet message. It's not giving up. It's reaching out for help. And there's wisdom in listening. So let me offer you this. Try one. Go to the store, hold a few in your hand, and see how they feel. Walk a few steps. Picture yourself walking into the post office, the market, or your granddaughter's recital, not worrying about your next step, but trusting it. A cane doesn't define who you are. It's just a tool. And like any good tool, when it's used well, it makes life better. If you can prevent a fall, if you can walk more freely, if you can replace hesitation with ease, why wouldn't you? You're not giving up your independence. You're protecting it. And in the end, isn't that what we all want? To keep doing the things we love, going the places we enjoy, being with the people who matter, without fear holding us back? You deserve that. You've earned that. So don't wait until a close call to take action. Don't let pride or fear make the decision for you. Listen to your body. Respect its signals. And if that means walking with a cane, walk with pride. Because confidence, my friend, looks good on you. Mistake number 6. Avoiding balance exercises. I'll admit something to you that might surprise you. Until a few years ago, I didn't even know balance exercises were a real thing. I had heard of stretching, gentle yoga, even Tai Chi, but I assumed all of that was just for flexibility or relaxation. Not something I needed. After all, I wasn't doing cartwheels or climbing mountains. I walked, I did chores, I was careful. What more did I need? It wasn't until I stepped into a wellness class at the local senior center that I realized just how wrong I was. That day, I thought we'd be sitting in chairs, doing easy stretches or breathing deeply to calming music. I even wore my comfiest socks and brought a water bottle, thinking it would be a nice, relaxing way to spend the afternoon. But 10 minutes into the class, the instructor said something that made me pause. "Let's practice standing on one leg." Wait, what? I looked around. Some people wobbled, others looked surprisingly steady. I gave it a try and instantly felt my foot fighting to stay planted. My arms went out like wings. I caught myself before tipping too far, but I couldn't believe how unstable I felt. When she had us walk heel to toe in a straight line, I wobbled again. That class didn't just challenge my balance, it challenged my assumptions. I had always believed that balance was something automatic, like blinking or breathing, something that just worked, until it didn't. But the truth is, balance isn't passive. It's a skill. And just like strength or memory or coordination, it fades if we don't use it. The reality hit me hard. I had never trained my balance, and it showed. Not because I was lazy, not because I was clumsy, but because I simply didn't know I had to. As we age, our bodies go through changes that affect how well we stay upright. Ankles become stiffer. Core muscles weaken. Reaction times slow down. Even the tiny muscles in our feet lose strength. All of this means that our ability to respond quickly when we trip, or to steady ourselves when the ground is uneven, gets weaker, unless we work on it. That's why you hear about someone stepping off a curb and falling, or slipping in the kitchen while reaching for something. It's not always the fall itself that causes the problem. It's the lost balance before the fall that's often the real culprit. Here's the part one find most hopeful. Balance can be trained. It can be improved. Even at 75, 85, 95. Our bodies may change, but our ability to adapt never fully disappears. We just have to give it the attention it deserves. After that class, I started doing small things each day. Nothing fancy, nothing strenuous. I stood on one leg while brushing my teeth, first for 10 seconds, then 15, eventually 30. I practiced shifting my weight from one side to the other while holding onto the back of a chair. I walked across my hallway heel to toe like I was walking a balance beam. These little habits took less than 5 minutes a day, but they began to make a big difference. At first, I noticed it in subtle ways. I stopped bracing myself every time I stood up. I didn't hesitate before stepping off a curb. I felt more stable walking on gravel or grass. But then came the moment that truly moved me. One morning, while I was cooking breakfast, a song came on the radio, an old favorite. And before I realized what was happening, I was dancing in the kitchen, spinning gently, swaying to the rhythm, smiling like I hadn't in years. I wasn't worried about falling. I wasn't holding on to anything. I trusted my body again. And that was freedom. Balance isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's psychological. When you feel steady in your body, you feel steady in your life. You trust yourself more. You move through the world with less fear and more joy. The best part? You don't need a gym membership. You don't need expensive equipment or special clothes. There are free YouTube videos tailored for seniors. Local community centers often offer balance-focused classes. Some Medicare plans even include virtual fitness programs. Even if you're not tech-savvy, there are booklets, DVDs, and in-person resources out there. It's all about finding what works for you. If I can give you one piece of advice, it's this: don't wait until after a fall to start thinking about your balance. Don't wait until someone else tells you to do something. Be proactive. Be curious. Be kind to your body and give it the tools it needs to support you. Think of balance training like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until your teeth hurt to start brushing. You do it every day because it keeps problems from building up. Balance is the same way. 5 or 10 minutes a few times a week can protect your future more than you realize. And don't worry about looking silly. I promise you, standing on one leg in your kitchen is one of the most powerful, courageous, and forward-thinking things you can do for yourself. It might feel shaky at first. That's okay. Shaky is part of learning. Shaky is part of strengthening. Every second you try, your brain is rewiring. Your muscles are engaging. Your body is remembering how to support you. And you're proving something to yourself every time you try. So whether you start today with one leg lifts, gentle Tai Chi, or simply walking a little more mindfully, just start. Balance is not something you lose and never get back. It's something you rebuild. With intention, with patience, and with love for the life you still have ahead of you. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Mistake number 7. Not drinking enough water. Out of all the things I've learned about aging, this one might be the most surprising and the most overlooked. Not drinking enough water can affect your balance. Yes, really. Mild dehydration, the kind that creeps up slowly over the day, can lead to dizziness, confusion, fatigue, and even lightheadedness when you stand up. And that puts you at real risk for falling. Now here's the tricky part. As we get older, our sense of thirst changes. Our bodies don't always send the same strong signals they used to. So even if you're not feeling thirsty, you could still be running low on fluids. For years, I thought I was doing just fine. I drank tea in the morning, a cup of coffee in the afternoon, and maybe a little water with dinner. But what I didn't realize was that tea and coffee, especially the caffeinated kind, can actually contribute to dehydration. And when I did the math, I was getting less than 4 cups of water a day. That's simply not enough, especially for someone in her 70s. Then came the headaches. The mid-afternoon fatigue. The moment I stood up too fast and had to grab the wall because everything tilted. I assumed it was just normal aging. But when my doctor asked how much water I was drinking, I didn't have a good answer. That day, I started keeping a little notepad by the fridge. Every glass I drank, I marked it down. I aimed for 6 to 8 cups of actual water each day, not counting tea or soda. And the difference was remarkable. I had more energy. I slept better. My joints didn't ache as much. But most importantly, I felt steadier on my feet. So here's my suggestion. Keep water where you can see it. On your nightstand. By your favorite chair. In your handbag when you go out. Sometimes, all it takes is a pretty water bottle and a splash of lemon or cucumber to make drinking water a little more appealing. If plain water isn't your favorite, try herbal teas or even broth-based soups. Just watch for added salt or sugar. The goal is to stay hydrated in a way that feels doable and natural for your lifestyle. Hydration may not sound like a big deal, but for women our age, it absolutely is. It supports every system in your body, including the one that keeps you upright. Drinking enough water is one of the easiest, cheapest, and most powerful ways to protect your balance. Mistake number 8. Living in a fallen-friendly home. The last mistake I want to talk about is one that's so common, we hardly even notice it until it's too late. I call it living in a fallen-friendly home. You see, we spend so much time in our homes, we start to overlook the little hazards. That throw rug we've had for 20 years. That lamp cord stretched across the hallway. The step from the garage to the kitchen that's just a little too high. We know our homes by heart. But our bodies change, and what used to be easy can suddenly become dangerous. My moment of realization came one morning when I was carrying a laundry basket. My arms were full, and as I stepped into the hallway, my foot caught the corner of a rug. I didn't fall, but I twisted my ankle and had to sit down right there on the floor. That ankle kept me out of my morning walks for almost 2 weeks. All because of a rug I'd walked over 1,000 times. After that, I took a fresh look at my home, not just with my eyes, but with safety in mind. And what I found surprised me. In the bathroom, I had no grab bars, just smooth tile and a bath mat that moved under my feet. In the hallway, I had one single dim light bulb. And in the kitchen, I kept my most used pans on a low shelf that forced me to bend and twist. All these things, which felt normal for decades, had become quiet risks. So I made a few simple changes. I removed the loose rugs and added non-slip mats. I installed a grab bar next to the toilet and inside the shower. I swapped out dim bulbs for warm LED lights. I even bought a nightlight with a motion sensor for the hallway. And instead of bending to reach the bottom cabinet, I moved the pans I use most to waist level. None of this cost a fortune. But it gave me something priceless: peace of mind. And let me tell you, there's no shame in adapting your home to support your needs. You're not babying yourself. You're protecting your independence. You're making it easier to move through life with confidence. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. And if someone else comes to visit, a grandchild, a friend, they benefit too. Here's a quick checklist I recommend for anyone over 60. Remove any rugs that slide or curl at the edges. Tape down cords or run them behind furniture. Install grab bars in bathrooms, not just in the shower, but near the toilet, too. Add night lights in the hallway, bathroom, and bedroom. Keep frequently used items at waist height to avoid bending or climbing. Use a shower chair if your legs feel tired when bathing. Make sure all stairs have railings, preferably on both sides. These aren't drastic changes, but they make your home a safer, more supportive space. And that means more freedom, more confidence, and fewer worries about what if. Because here's the truth, most falls happen at home. But most falls can also be prevented, not with fear, but with preparation. So take a little time to look around your space with new eyes. Ask yourself, if I were visiting this home for the first time, what would make me feel safer? Then take action, bit by bit, day by day. You deserve to live in a space that takes care of you, just like you've spent a lifetime taking care of others. So, there you have it. 8 common mistakes that quietly, slowly, but surely steal our balance, our confidence, and sometimes even our independence. Some of them seem so small, like skipping a glass of water or wearing the same shoes we've trusted for years. Others, like ignoring vision changes or brushing off medication side effects, feel like things we'll deal with later. But together, these habits add up. And over time, they can turn into real risks. But here's the beautiful truth. You don't have to accept these things as part of getting older. You have more power than you think. More control than you've been told. And you are not alone in this. I want you to know, truly know, that you are still capable of strength. Still worthy of stability. Still deserving of a life that feels grounded and safe. If you've been afraid to walk down that uneven driveway, if you've skipped an outing because of your balance, if you've ever quietly thought, what if I fall and no one's there? Then this message is for you. You are not weak for being careful. You are wise for preparing. You are brave for choosing to face these changes instead of hiding from them. Taking care of your balance doesn't mean giving in. It means standing tall, literally and emotionally. It means building the kind of confidence that lets you step forward again. Not with fear, but with freedom. So, let me ask you something simple, and I'd truly love for you to answer it in the comments below. Backhand index pointing right, which of these 8 mistakes surprised you the most? Backhand index pointing right, or maybe this one. What's one change you're going to make starting today? I read every single comment. And I can promise you, your story might just inspire someone else to get stronger, too. If this video helped you, please take a second to like it. If you want more practical advice, heartfelt stories, and guidance for living smarter as you age, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Wise Elders. Take care of yourself, my friend. Your body has carried you through so much. Your future self is counting on you to keep going, steady, strong, and full of grace.